Jersey Central is on location. We are at the interim home of George Street Playhouse at 103 College Farm Road in North Brunswick. We're occupying the rehearsal space for the terrific new show that is on stage now. Going to be running through the middle of this month, called American Hero. And taking a few minutes to talk with us today is one of the stars of the show who plays Rob. He's Armand Schultz, and he's with us here on WCTC. Thanks for taking a couple minutes. Good to talk to you, Armand.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
This is why I love actors. I mean, a short period of time from now, on stage, a packed theater, and you're as cool as can be. This is why I love actors. I would be pacing, I would be nervous, but good for you, man.
Okay. You should have seen me on opening night. I was pacing. So
it was your opening night.
Oh, well, all right. Everybody gets a little nervous before then, but just because it's a big night. But other than that, it's you just go out and do your thing. You know?
What I love about this show, Armand, is it's one of these shows that 2 days, 3 days, 4 days later, it's still kind of, you're replaying some scenes in your mind about why certain things are said at certain times and certain actions from different characters. Is that what you're kind of hoping people will take home after they see American Hero? Because it's really just a riveting, powerful show.
Very much so. I think that, Christopher he's just written an incredible piece of work. His first play that I had read, American Hero, before American Hero, American Son, is also very powerful. That was done here last year. There's so much in this play that it's hard to describe without giving the mystery of away. There's a mystery involved into it. There's personal relationships. There's some very hot topics that are going on right now today. So the fact that it takes place sort of around a military family, it's not really just about the military. So I think what's happening is a lot of people after the show have come up to me when they stop me and say, can we talk about this? People are sitting in their cars out in the parking lot, still discussing the play and not leaving the parking lot, which is how I've met some of our patrons. They literally have rolled the window down and said, could you please talk to me for a while?
Wow.
We're so stunned by this play. And I think that's what's great about great playwriting, and also the performances. I'm getting to work with an incredible cast, is that there's a lot of smaller issues in this play that are incredibly demanding for you to think about and that resonate once you've walked out of the theater. And I think that's what makes for great theater.
Yeah, and I think your character, Rob, has just such interesting dynamic and relationships with the captain, of course, played by John, who plays a bunch of different characters in this show. The character Mary and your daughter Sean, who is just fantastic. And it's such different relationships and dynamics with all the characters that I think is what really kind of resonates with people. And just so many different relationships. And again, I don't want to give too much away, but talk about how this character does so many different things over such a long period of time. I think it's pretty remarkable.
Well, John's character is fascinating, but it's also, he plays multiple roles in the show that my character bounces off of, and he's pretty much a lot of the authority figures in the show. And each of those, I think one of the best parts of all the characters that Christina Brown has written in this play is they all have an underlying life that you may not know about, that isn't very obvious when you first see them. And then when these people go into their stories, or they relate to my character Rob, because I relate to all of them, you find out little facets of their character that have affected their lives deeply, whether it's in a humorous way or a non-humorous way, or they've been affected by working with other people. And I think that's the strength of his writing. I think, me, I'm a single dad. I'm raising a 17-year-old daughter. I'm divorced. I have some physical issues that I have to deal with, which also my daughter has to deal with. I'm a father of 2 girls myself, so I know how hard it is to be just a normal human being without having the problems that Rob has. But then when this very close friend of his from the Army shows up, she sort of drops into his life, and that's where all the drama begins.
Yeah.
And yet it's not telegraphed in any way, shape, or form as to how she will affect not only myself, my daughter, the people she comes in contact with, as you would. Just because that's what happens. You take someone and drop them into what looks like an easy situation, and drama ensues.
That's
as
true.
They say.
Have you heard from veterans at all about this show, Armand? And what would you encourage a veteran to come see this show? And what do you hope them to kind of take away from a show like this?
I think I personally have not. Excuse me. I know that David Saint, our director, has. Ann Treadway, who is at Rutgers University and who deals with veterans. She deals a large veterans. I don't want to say she's not a teacher there. She runs a big association at Rutgers University. She came and spoke with us a lot about her experiences in Iraq, because she's an Iraqi war veteran. She came, and as she had read the play, and I'm not quoting her, but she said, I'm not sure that I'd be able to go see it because it resonates so deeply with me that I'm not sure I want to relive that. She may come and see it towards the end of the play. we've had some talkbacks with some audiences that have been really terrific, and there have been veterans in the audience. I don't believe we've spoken to anyone who was an Iraq or Afghanistan veteran, or from either of these past 17 years of campaigns. A lot of World War II veterans, some Vietnam veterans have been in the audience, and some of the questions have been really terrific, and mostly that they've said that certain events in this play and certain discussions that happen bring back exactly how they felt. So Christopher's done a great job with his research, I think, and there's some hot button issues. I know, it's probably hard to sit through some of it if you were a vet. So I don't know if it would be cathartic for you to come. I think the way that the military is portrayed is probably really pretty spot on in terms of different facets. They're not all bad guys, they're not all good guys. I think you're seeing what happens to the human element of being in the military. It's very similar to my dad was a Purple Heart in Korea, and a lot of the things that have happened in this play and certain lines in this play are things that my father actually said to me.
Wow. When
I was young. My father did not want to discuss the war that he was in and did not want to talk about certain things at all until much later in life when he started to tell me about some things before, when he was much older. So those things, it was very interesting when I read this play the first time, because certain quotes I was like, my father told me that when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And both sides of the issue, he was there to do a job just as so are our troops. And so I think whatever side of the political world you live on, I don't think it's skewed necessarily in any way. It's a play about 4 human beings who just happen to be from, a lot of military is involved in this, and I think it resonates quite well.
And I think why the characters are so relatable is because you have a lot of people that sort of live in that gray area where, like you said, it's not strictly good guys and strictly bad guys.
Right.
There's a lot of relatable content there, whether you've served in the military or not, just the family dynamic and the relationship dynamic and how you want people to perceive you, I think, is what comes across in this show as well. And in the 90 minutes, I went through so many emotions just catching the show on opening night. Talk about what it was like from your perspective to kind of just be on this roller coaster every night.
It's a great thrill. I don't know if thrill's the right word. I mean, it's a 90-minute
Acting is a thrill.
Yeah, it is. It's a 90-minute show. I think one of the things is, like most powerful plays, you sort of start off, but from the time you step on stage the first time, 90 minutes later, you've gone through an amazing event, if it's clicked the right way with the people that you're out there with, and it seems to sail by. And the responses from the audiences so far have been amazing, from the humorous elements in the play to the parts where you can hear a pin drop in the audience, and that's when you know that you've connected with an audience, and also that you know how good the play is. I mean, there are evenings, I don't want to spoil it for the audience. You need to come see it. I could tell you certain things where, and that's how you know you're connecting. But it runs the emotional gamut. For me and for Leona's character, who's a very volatile character in the play, but also just a wonderful piece of life on stage. It's an incredible character she's created. And John and Callie. I mean, the stuff that Callie has as my daughter, it's just will be very similar to, I'm sure, parents. If they come, they go, I've been in that situation.
I'm sure.
And then you see that everybody also in the play, I think one of the other good things is everyone sort of has not something that they're hiding, but they have some part of themselves that they don't want to reveal to other people, which I think is very. I think all of us can relate to that. I don't want to put an adjective on it, but I think it's very true.
Oh, sure. The show again is American Hero. It is on stage at George Street Playhouse through mid-February. You can get tickets at the box office at 732-246-7717 or visit the website georgestreetplayhouse.org. But definitely catch American Hero while it's here at George Street Playhouse. Maybe I just watched the performances too closely, Armand. I don't know, but the wheelchair. You would swear you were in a wheelchair for years. As an actor, did you have to perfect that to make it appear realistic?
I did a lot of rehearsal. I came in. Yeah, it's just basically I watched a lot of video. That's not a giveaway for the audience. You'll figure that out pretty quickly early in the show. No, I watched a lot of video and I talked to some doctors about his specific injury and what it's like, and then I basically just spent a month and trying to get used to make it look like that I've been there for a while.
You did your homework. That's very cool.
Yes, so
Good
thanks.
stuff. Well, Armand Schultz, thank you for the time. I know you have to get ready to take the stage in just a bit, but congratulations on just a terrific job with this show. And audiences that will see this will love it, and they will keep coming back to George Street Playhouse. So thanks again for the time. And
my pleasure.
Have a great show, all right?
Thank you very much.